Hi all, welcome back to Loadrunner Advanced Training Sessions. So today we'll be discussing analysis part. Last session we discussed about controller and execution of load test. So yeah, let's go ahead and start uh, the session. So last time I executed the load test for 30 minutes duration. So I completed the test and we can open the results by going through results here and analyze results. If you see here, this is the same folder. You can open the results from another way also. You can copy that path and go to here and go to load test. Where is load test? Search load. Yeah, here it is. And click on LRR file. This is one way of doing the opening of Loadrunner results file. So, and there is another shortcut way. If you are in as soon as the test completes, you can go here and you can do click on analyze results. Okay, once you click on analyze results, you will be prompted with Loadrunner analysis module. So this is another component which I discussed in earlier sessions, right? We will be having three components mainly: PUSN and controller and analysis, and this is the one which will be used to analyze the Loadrunner results. So it is loading right now. So once it loads, we can start the remaining part. Yeah, it is loaded. It is loading all the necessary graphs and everything. So now it is showing here as complete data at the left side corner. If it says completed data, that means it loaded all the data. Sometimes if it is huge data, you may get pop-up window saying that you want to load complete data with yes or no options. So in that case, click on yes, so that it will load everything here. Until you get complete data, you have to wait. Okay, this is very small file, so it is completed results very quickly. So that is all about this LRR file. See, once you open that LRR file, it become LRA. If you observe here, as soon as it opens in Loadrunner analysis file, it will become LRA file. So this will be LRA stands for Loadrunner analysis, LRR stands for Loadrunner results file. So even if you save this file also, you will get LRA only. Okay, so yeah, that is all about this one. So now by default we will be prompted with few details. That is one, the reports is summary report, and a few graphs will be defaultly loaded as soon as the LRR file will be opened. So this is quite common for all the tests, whichever company you are working, whatever test you run. Whenever you open the LRR file, these are the files which will be prompting default. One will be running v users, the other one will be hits per second, throughput, transaction summary, average transaction response time graph. These are the graphs which will be loading as soon as the report opens. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start on analyzing these results. Okay, so here in summary report we have analysis summary. So the period shows from starting of the test and ending of the test duration. So this is the test started and test ended. And scenario, so it will have scenario details, where the scenario is located and where the results are stored, and how much duration the test has been executed, and what is the number of users who executed, and throughput, average throughput, and total hits and average hits. So even we can define SLAs. We can come to this part later, but the same SLAs you can define in controller as well. So I have explained how to do this one in my earlier sessions, so you might be well aware. So here I will explain you later how to do it. So this is another part, transaction part. This transactions, it will show you how many total transactions passed, total failed, and total stopped. So this is all about scenarios. Okay, so total transaction stopped, and here we don't have any failed or total stopped ones, so that is the reason it is showing as 0. And coming to transactions, see we have total 3 transactions in this script. If you see my controller, we have one script. This script I opened here, this is the script. If you look at the transactions, we have one, and we have login, and we have URL open. So total we have 3 transactions, right? So that is the reason we are seeing 3 transactions here. So these are the 3 transactions with min, max, average, standard deviation, 90 percentile, and passed, failed, stopped. If you see anything, you will get here. So there is no SLA defined, that is the reason it is showing no SLAs results. Okay, so that is one thing. And we have responses summary. If the test is going on, you will see sometimes 400 errors, 500 errors, everything, right? 200s. So in this test we don't have any errors, so that is the reason everything is showing as 200. If you click this one, it will open another report. See, HTTP responses per second. So this is another graph which you can look through, like when 400 was happened during the execution, at what time. So you can get all the details here. So that is all about summary graph. If you want this page, sometimes you will be having hundreds of transactions here, so the client is very much interested on this response times, passed, failed, and all. Then there is a one option you can do, export to Excel, export to summary Excel, and let me store this one to desktop. So analysis summary, I will save it as same name. Okay, so if you click save, it will be saved. Okay, as soon as it saves, we'll get here. Where is that? Yeah, it's opened already. See, all the data will be populated automatically. Summary report. This report sometimes we can send to clients as well. They are much interested, or if they are very much interested on these details, just copy these details and send to them. So mention them, these are the transactions executed, and these are the average, minimum, standard deviation, past, failed transactions. Sometimes this will be very much useful to send to the clients. Okay, so that is all about that one, how to export that data. Okay, so now let's go to vusers. Running vusers graph will show you how the users are executed during the execution. Okay, so here we can see the study duration or peak duration. We can see 10 users are constantly running. Okay, and after 30 minutes the user started ramping down. So this is ramping down and ramping up at 30 seconds. Okay, that is the reason it's did very quickly ramp up. So that is the reason we are not seeing anything at ramp up time. See, if you see every 5 users 15 seconds, that means 10 users will be coming in 30 seconds. Okay, so that is the reason we did not see any much deviation here. Okay, so sometimes in running users or any test, if you run with 1000 users or 2000 users, you will be doing slow ramp ups, right? It may take 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and even ramp down will be doing even 20 to 30 minutes. So in that case, sometimes client will be interested on only peak duration timings. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to exclude ramp up and ramp downs from our test. So how to exclude ramp up and ramp down from our results? So there is a option, global filtering. Either you can do from global filtering, or you can even do from your script, your graph as well. If what is the difference between global filtering and graph filtering is, if you do the graph filtering, it will be only applicable to this graph only, it won't affect other graphs. So let me show you one small difference here. So here I am doing ramp up 30 and ramp down 0 0. So if you click OK, you will see now one straight line. That means ramp up and ramp down has been removed, and you can see straight 10 users which were executed for peak 30 minutes duration in our case. In your case, if it is 1 hour, you can see peak 1 hour duration. So if you go to other graph, still you can see 002 until 30.30, so until the end of the execution. See, if you see this graph, you can see only until 30. The other graph will be 30, 35, 37. So it will, each one have different format. See, if you see this one, it will be 30, 37 or 24. Okay, now if you do filtering by graph wise, it will be applicable to the same graph, it won't applicable to globally. Now there is one more option. If you want to apply these settings globally, then you can click on global settings. Okay, in the global settings we have scenario elapsed time, the same thing which I did for running users. Here first 30 seconds is my ramp up, after 30 minutes another 30 seconds is my ramp down. Okay, now give like that and click on OK. Now it will apply to all the graphs because this is global setting. See, still it did not apply here, that means something wrong in the this one. See, still I did not made this one to 00, so make it 0. First 30 minutes ramp down, after 30 again 30 seconds will be ramp down, so that is the reason. So now I am applying this filter. See, now it is applied everywhere, each graph you can see only 29, 30 max. Okay, so this way we can do global filtering. Okay, so that is one of the thing, and there is one more. There are many options available here, but we will be using only few options here. See, sometimes you want to remove think time. Okay, you just exclude this one. This means think time will be included. Sometimes what happens is in script within the transaction, by somehow you might be forgotten or something, the reason you might be including think times inside the transaction. In that case, whenever you insert think times inside the transaction, what happens is you will see high response times, right? So in order to remove them, you can come here and exclude this one and click on OK button. Automatically it will apply the remove filter. Okay, so that way you can do lot of things. Okay, so yeah, so these are all the details we have here. If you want user ID wise, I want very much interested on only few users I want to see, then you can give that users and you can click OK. Only the report will be applicable to only that particular users. Okay, or I am very much interested on only one transaction to see. There are 3 transactions in my test, but I am only interested on one transaction. Then if you click OK, every report will be pulling only this related data from the database. Other data details it won't fetch. Okay, so this is all about filtering, the global filtering. Okay, there are another features as well. You can go through them one by one and you will get some idea. So this is global filtering. Now if I apply that one, if you go to average response times, you can see only login transaction. See, I am able to see only login transaction. URL, sorry, URL, I did here only URL, right? So that is the reason. If you want everything, then again uncheck this, click OK button, you will get all the graphs. See, you got all the graphs. Okay, likewise we have to do global filtering. Yeah, now we can go one by one. Let's go to hits per second. So you might be hearing many questions in interviews. What is hits per second? What is throughput? Hits per second is nothing but how many requests you are sending to the server in a second. Okay, so requests per second is nothing but hits per second is nothing but requests per second. How many requests you are sending to the server? Throughput is nothing but how much data you are getting from the server. Once you send request, you will get response, right? In response, always you will get as a data packets, right? Network packets. Okay, that packets we will call it as bytes. Once it receives to our page, it will design a page. our end user end client. Okay, so this is bytes per second. How much data we are receiving from the server. This is to the server, this is from the server. Okay, transaction summary is nothing but the same thing. In summary graph you can see, right, how many ramp ups and the same transactions whatever you see here, the same thing it will be showing you in the summary graph. Okay, so this is the summary graph which you will be finding. Same one analysis summary, whatever you have, the same data it will be represented in graphical way. So that is only difference here. So this is average response time graph, where we'll be sometimes we'll be sharing this data as well to client, because average response times are hard for our load testing, right? They might be very much interested on average response times. Now let's go ahead and add few more graphs. Yeah, if you go to our test, we have added Windows resource graphs. See, these are the Windows resource graphs. Okay, how do you get that resource graphs here? Whatever server you monitored, you want to get those response times. So for that you won't get by default. As I said, only few graphs you will get as with default. Under graphs, right click and add a graph, and under system resources you have Windows resources. Click on this and you will get resource utilization graphs. Here you will be having all kinds of graph data. We'll be discussing this one later. Okay, for now nothing to worry about this. What is all this? So this way you can add the graph, and if you want to delete also, you can right click and delete it if you don't want it. Even you can duplicate this particular item. The same one will be copied 2 more times, and you can rename it whatever way you want. Okay, so that is one more way you can do. You can do add, deletion, duplication, everything. Okay, so this is all about adding graphs and removing graphs. And let's move on to some other features. So there are some other features. Whenever you right click on the particular graph, you'll be seeing lot of features, right? Anyway, this one you know. So this filter you want to know, just here this is transaction response time. You will be pretty much interested on, sometimes you will be interested on only one transaction. That time you can select only one and click filter. Only for this graph it will be applicable. If you don't want, again go here, okay, and uncheck this and click OK button. Again it will be reappeared. So this way you can uncheck and recheck and do multiple things under this. If you see here, average response times, end user, whether you want pass, failed, everything. If you have many, you can click all of them. If you have, they will appear, otherwise they won't. Whatever they are available, they will come. See, all the data it will come. Okay, so user IDs, I am very much interested on user ID wise also. Sometimes your client is saying add user 1. Okay, then otherwise you will give user ID 1 to, we ran with 10, right? So let's go and see how the response times for each user ID wise. Okay, that way also you can get data for only that specific user wise. But you won't see here, this is aggregation graph where all the data will be added together and it will display. If you want individual transaction, then there is a drill down option we have to go. So let me go ahead and explain you remaining features. There is one more option, drill down, where you can drill down that particular transaction into multiple ways. Now go to drill down button. I am more interested on URL. Okay, this URL, then go and select this user ID. Now the response time for URL transaction, how many users you are running. Let's say in this test we are running with 10 users, right? So this 10 users, each user, how the response times for URL will be shown here. Let's click on OK. Now you can see URL user 1 10 2 3 4 5 6. What is the response times for each user level? Whenever you see the graph, you won't see all this data, you will see all average of this all users. Okay, average of minimum, average of maximum, likewise it will show. And also you have raw data also. See, if you want to see get the raw data, there is a view raw data, and this raw data you can click OK button, and this data can be appeared here, and you can save this and you can have a look how it looks. Okay, so now I am not going to do this one, you can do by your own. Okay, so that way, even if you want graph data, you can do here, or you can do here itself. You can click on save button, the graph data will be saved. Okay, so this button you have to click. Okay, export raw data, and this is one more way. And even global filter also you can do that one. See, user ID, you have to add this user ID, and you can filter, automatically you will get that data. Okay, so this is one way of doing drill down of transactions. There is one more good thing about granularity. So for that, to show you very clearly, let me reset everything. Let me reset and click OK. Now I have data, but if you see this one, I am not sure how what is the maximum response time. Right here it is showing maximum as only 2.7 seconds, but when you see this log of transaction, max it reached is 8.49 seconds, but here it is not showing because the granularity for this graph is different. If you see the granularity, they mentioned as every 32 seconds the sample will be collected from the log. It will fetch the data from the server every 32 seconds only. Now if I want every second, then go ahead and change this granularity to second wise. Now again it will go and fetch the data. Now you can see you can see maximum of 8.49 seconds. So this is the way you can get the granularity. You can change your graphing view. See, now it is showing you from 0.5 to 8 seconds. Previously when it was 32 seconds, you won't see. Even let me change to minute also. See, based on granularity you will change the data how you want to be appeared. Data want to be appeared on this page. So the best way is, if you are running 1 hour test, go for 1 second. If you are running 24 hours 12 hours test, go for 1 minute. That will be best way. That is my suggestion. Okay, if you want, there is one transaction you want to really analyze, then what you can do is you select only that particular transaction. Okay, so how to do that? So you can either do different ways. Okay, here you can select and select only selected. Okay, or I want to more interested on this transaction, so you can go ahead and click right click here and show only selected. It will show only this particular transaction. Now you can apply filter here for this particular granularity, how you want to be. You no need to get all the data, right? It will fetch only data for this particular transaction. Okay, because here if you see the star mark, this operation can be long and take lot of memory. That means it will go and to database, and it has to fetch all the data, right, each second wise. So it will take lot of time. When you are running for 24 hours, you will be collecting lot of data. So if you want to do this one, better always go for whichever transaction you want to analyze, only go for the transactions. Don't go blindly and say change the graph. Okay, so this is one more way of doing this analysis. Okay, so that is all about set granularity. And view measurement trends, nothing, you just, it will remove this average response time bar, and it will show you just measurements, even that response times also. See, just as a trend, how it looks, that's all. If you uncheck it again, you will get back this one. This will be gone, the values will be gone, but the graphs look similar. See, it will be little bit enlarged. Okay, only that is the difference we can see. and view cursor. Yeah, this is one more option. You want to know, like, if you click on view cursor, see, you will see more options. If you click right side, if you move cursor right side, it will be enlarged. If you want to come back to normal position, move to left side always, like this. Okay, if you want to see more details on this position, just move that cursor on right side. Okay, so again move, hold the control or the left arrow on your keypad and just drag that side. Okay, like this you will get, like this you will enlarge. Okay, left and right, if you do, automatically you can see more that part. Okay, so if you want to remove cursor, just right click and remove the cursor. And this is view raw data. I showed you, if you want to get raw data, you can click on that. The data will be available this side and you can save them. Okay, that is all about raw data. And merge graphs. Yeah, merge graphs is again a very big topic. So merge graph, where you can merge one or more graphs. You can merge only two graphs at a time. Now I want to merge hits per second and throughput. So some interviews they will ask you what is the difference between hits per second and throughput. Hits per second and throughput always directly proportional. That means if hits are increasing, most of the time our throughput also will increase. Okay, so that is one more thing. But if you do like stress tests, right, like 3x peak, 4x peak, the throughput will be different, because you will be sending more requests at once to the server, where server cannot be handling that much data. The servers are not capable to handle that much load, and they may not give you high response, they may not give you proper throughput. That time you may not see directly proportional, but most of the cases if you run load test, it will be directly proportional. Okay, sometimes they will ask you, are you sure it will be directly proportional? You can tell them, whenever you do load test, it should be directly proportional. Whenever you do stress test, like 2x peak, 3x peak keep on increasing, at some level the server cannot handle the load, it cannot process the response times, right? It won't give you the response very fast. That time you cannot expect same way. Okay, that you have to explain them whenever they ask this kind of question. So now I want to merge, my current graph is hits per second, I want to merge with throughput. Then you can see there are three types of graphs. Overlay graph means we will be having single x-axis, whereas this y-axis will be one side, the other graph will come this. Right now hits per second is left side, right? The throughput will come right side. Okay, when you do overlay, see, like this. But the x-axis is common for both of them. See, if you see this one, there is no single difference, both are identical. That means hits per second and throughput are directly proportional. Okay, now let's go ahead and see average response time and throughput. Average response time and throughput always inversely proportional, they are not same as hits per second throughput. When you see high response times, the throughput will be less. Let's see. So if you see here throughput graph, okay, unexpected results, click OK button, it's okay. See, so okay, let me do one thing. I think this graph has similar data and different granularity. Let's bring same granularity for both the graphs so that it will be easy. So let me change my average response times to 32 seconds so that it will be very good to compare. So whenever you want to compare two graphs, it should have same granularity. If you have different granularity, it will give the error like that which has given previously, right? I am deleting this one, again I am doing this one. So right click, merge graph, I want to merge with throughput and average response times always inversely proportional. The merging graph have different x filter values, unexpected may occur. Okay, let me do one thing. So why means the set filter I removed for that one, that is the reason I'm going to remove for this one as well. Now it should be same. Here we have same data, so now it won't give that error. Merge graphs, so go to throughput and click OK button. See, now I did not give, so that is the reason. So sometimes, yeah, see here, sometimes what happens is if you see high response times, okay, the throughput will be very less, but in this case it is good because this is very small load we executed, right? In real time, whenever you see the throughput, if you see high response time, the throughput will be very less. Okay, that means your response time, I can give you best example. You are sending request and you are getting response time, expecting response time very fast. If let's say, let's for example, you are getting 100 transactions you are sending and they are taking too much longer time, then that time you won't be having throughput, right, that particular second, because your transactions are taking more than expected time. So that time your throughput will, you won't get any response from the server, it is still waiting on the server to get the response. So that time your data won't be coming to you. So that is the reason whenever you see very high response times, your throughput will be very low. In this case it is very small load, so that is the reason we are seeing little high response time. But in real cases, the throughput and average response times always inversely proportional. Okay, so that is one more observation you have to think. So this is very good interview questions. What is the relation between hits per second and throughput, and what is the relation between average response time and throughput? Okay, you should be aware of it. Okay, so that is one more thing which I have to tell you. And let's come to again our merge graph. Now this time I will use tile graph. There are three different graphs, so overlay, tile and correlate. When you do overlay, what happens is overlay graph, if you see this one, view the contents of two charts that shares the same common x-axis but one above the other. That means you will get half of the graph will be hits per second, half of the graph will be throughput. Let's see that. Let's say okay. See here, this is half of the graph will be same x-axis for both of them. Half will be hits per second, half will be throughput. Throughput. Yeah. So now again I will do the other graph, the final one. The final will correlate. Correlate. What happens is this side you will get same graph which is hits per second. This side you will get number of users, that is on x-axis. See, plot y-axis of two charts against each other. That means there is no y-axis. See here, number of users. Okay, likewise, what is the hits and what will be the number of users, like this you will get. Okay, so this way we can compare the different graphs and different merging ways. But if you observe here, merge graphs always you can merge with, if I am in current graph, I can merge with only one another graph only. I cannot merge with 2-3 graphs. Okay, there is another way how to merge it, I will tell you later. Okay, excuse me. Yeah, now, so transaction breakdown tree means it will just show you transaction tree, nothing else, like this. Okay, so it is not showing anything for now, so usually it should give you the one. Okay, let me set filter. Yeah, here we have filters, right? That is the reason it's not working. Let me remove all the filters. See, now if you click, we'll see only that particular data. Come on, what happens? So I think is there any issue with global filter? Yeah, okay, I will look into this and it should come. So some reason it's not coming, so let's see what's going on with this. Okay, go filter. Yeah, again still I'm seeing, why I'm still seeing this past. Okay, click OK. Okay, so it should show actually So there is some issue, some reason. See, here it is showing, but here the data is not populating. Okay, so looks like some issue with this graph. Okay, it's not showing. Okay, that's okay, it should show that graph, but it is not showing here due to some issue. Okay, so that is all about. Just this is just graph only. This will just show you what data. It is just like normal graph, how I did here, right? Transaction graph. If I want to select only this graph, I will go and do this way also. The same thing you can do in transaction hierarchy graph also. How many transactions we have, the look and feel will be different, that's all. See, here you can see all as a list, and if you click it, it should open that graph, but some reason it is not coming in my system. So but in your case it should pop up with proper data. Okay, so that is all about. You can hide also that one, it will go away. Yeah, then we'll come to auto correlate. Let's go and show you some small difference here. So only selected, yes, I want to only see. Now I want to see what is happening at this particular period. Okay, so if you want to know from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, then I want to merge auto correlate. What happens is, you can select that period, that transaction first, and right click and go to auto correlate. Here the beauty of this auto correlate is, you can select the time range, how much time you want to look for. I want to look only this much period, and here you can compare with more than one graph. See, here it's per second, throughput, and also you can give Windows resource. These three by default are coming. I think these three will be more than enough. Here what one thing you have to observe, you can assign more than one graph, but in merge graphs you can do maximum 2 graphs. Here you can do more than one graph with specific time period. Okay, if someone asks, you should say that one. We have to select some specific time period, and you can do more than one graphing, adding in auto correlate graph. Okay, so here you can observe everything, and I want to see system resource utilization. I want to see mainly processing time, that is CPU utilization. We see that one. See, during that time how the CPU utilization. Okay, you can observe that also. Whenever the response time is high, even CPU went little high. Okay, so that is the way we have to identify the issue. Okay, so this is one more way of identifying the exact issue by auto correlating more than one graph here. Okay, clear filter, this is nothing, just you have to clear the filtering, everything will be removed. This is undo, just again bring back to previous state. Again you can clear filter, it will come to normal state. Okay, and this is cursor, right? You just do this one, it will be removed. Okay, yeah, I think filter, it did not click. Okay, so this is the way we have to do. Okay, and another thing what we have to do here is, yeah, clear display options. Yeah, even display options also, if you added some display options like bold and everything, it will clear everything. Okay, so if you add any display options, it will be removed. Okay, and there is one more thing, you can add comments also. Like let's say I want to see, before entering comment, what you have to do is, you have to put cursor where you want to assign comment, then right click and click on add comment. Only that particular place it will be added. Observed high response time, something like that. Okay, you can write like this and you can send to them. Okay, so this way we can give some observations as well. And copy to clipboard means it will copy that particular graph to your clipboard, and you can paste wherever you want. I want to paste in WinWord. I can click and Control V. If you do, you can get that graph. See, likewise. So that is good option to have. And save image, you can save as GIF file or whatever file you want. You can save that one as well. And you can do, yeah. And display options, this is one more display option I told, right? Clear display options. Let's say show legend on the graph. Okay, and let me add 3D. Now this display is different, right? Now the clear display options means that is the one. Whatever display options you are giving here, it will remove. See, so that is all about clear display options. Whatever display options you are giving here, if you want to remove, so legend means if you have very less transaction, this is very beautiful. You want to see what is this transaction and what it does. If you have more than 100 transactions, this is not good option. If you want 3D way, you can give that also. Okay, so even you have advanced options also. You can go ahead and see how you want, what x-axis and what kind of way you want to plot graphs, data and everything. If you want to know anything, you can do here. Okay, you want to print. Okay, so likewise you can do title if you want to change. Okay, something else you can do that as well. Okay, all the different things we can do here, just explore it. Okay, so that's all about display options. But here you have one more beautiful thing. See, here we are getting always time, right? Our test timing. Let me go here and let me remove here, clear filter, clear all, click OK. Here some reason the graph is not coming. Let's see by doing this whether it will come or not. We'll see. Oh, okay, what happens? It's not coming. Should come on. Yeah, here everything is coming except this graph. Okay, so I think it is due to granularity or something. No, okay, let's go to filters, let's go to elapsed time and see. Yeah, it is there 0 only. Let's try to change this one to 32 30 and see. Something problem with my system, it is not getting data properly. Yeah, see, it's not changing. Okay, it is showing some reason 6 seconds only. It's not changing, but it should work in your case. Okay, that is one thing. So what I was explaining, yeah. So coming to our topic, say here you have 6 7 8 9 like seconds only. If you see here, our time is 30 minutes, so it is showing minutes wise. But client is very much interested on date, what time you are in executed. Let's say this date, like 5:18 I executed 5:45. This clock time, he wants clock time, not the 1 to 3 minutes time. In that case, you have one beautiful option here. Go to display options, absolute time. This will be the client time. See, so it happened. So it is every second I mentioned, right? That is the reason. See, if you give absolute time, it will become like that. Granularity has some issue. Let's change the granularity to 1 minute. So still it doesn't come properly. I will select different graph. Here we have some issue. Okay, let's go to this graph. I will show you display options here. It will work better way. So if you give absolute time, see, the time got changed. 5:20, 5:25, 5:35, 5:40. Again, if you change to relative time, again 5, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like that. So always try to use this absolute time. This will be very good for clients to know like what exact time we executed. Okay, so I will use most of the time this absolute time only in my tests because it will be very clear. So these are the a few options we did. And properties, there is one properties window will appear here. You can do something like group by and all this stuff. By default it will come, whatever you do will filter, right? The same settings you will get there. So yeah, that's all for today. And thanks for watching. We'll go ahead and do further sessions in next upcoming sessions. On the same results I'm going to save here. Let me save these results. Whenever you do save results, it will ask you where you want to do. I will go ahead and do in my desktop only. Next session it will be very easy for me to show you guys. I can say load test. Come on, load test, load test underscore. You can keep today's date 27/04/2020. Okay, so I'm saving this session. In next session we'll use the same this one, and we'll start from there. We'll go from there. So there are another plenty of beautiful features available here. I will show you them one by one in upcoming videos. Okay, so thanks for watching. See you in next session. Please do subscribe and do others know by sharing, and even like it if you do like my videos. Thank you guys. See you in next session. Bye.